All right, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm thankful to have another interview here. This one with Jed Helker. He's an Oklahoma native. Shout out to the OKC Thunder. Guarantee you he's excited that they won. But anyway, he just finished his NCAA eligibility at the University of Cincinnati. He's ran 340 for 1,500 meters, which actually he's ran 340 more than once. So that's awesome. He has a really unique and fun running journey. We'll get into that. I really enjoyed learning about that journey and talking to him about what makes him successful and how he deals with ups and downs, and just kind of get into all that. So let's get right into it. Jed Helker. All right, Jed, thanks for doing this.
Of course.
All right, so as we always, actually, let's briefly, where's your hometown and kind of describe where that's at?
Yeah, I was born in Kansas City, but grew up in Edmond, Oklahoma, just about 20-30 minutes north of Oklahoma City. So
okay, yeah, so you're probably pretty pumped about the NBA Finals right now.
Go Thunder, baby. Game 6 tomorrow. Let's put them away.
All right. Yeah, and then we always like to start with how'd you get into the sport of running?
I was a wee lad, 8 years old, and went to my sister's high school practice and met the coaches and the athletes. Just thought they were super nice, and then that just persisted throughout anywhere that I went within the sport. Everyone's just super welcoming. I mean, especially within distance running, it's kind of hard to find many rivalries. I think that's a lot of the beef people have with the sport. It's like there's no fun rivalries, but it's just because everyone's so nice and welcoming, and I just love that about it. I just love the atmosphere, but I also was good at it as a kid, and so that was kind of addicting. And then you just, from middle school, high school on, about freshman year of high school, I decided all right, this is what I'm going to do in college. So I quit all my other sports and went all in on it. So, but it started about age 8 or 9. Just was doing summer track and loved it. So
okay,
yeah.
Nice. So what other sports did you dabble with at a younger age?
We were a soccer family. I feel like a lot of runners are soccer background, but
yeah.
We were a soccer family, played competitively, but that gets expensive for 3 kids traveling around the nation and doing showcases and stuff. So at a young age, they pulled me out of it and tried to get me to be interested in other sports, which I was. So kind of transitioned over to basketball mainly. Was a demon on the flag football team, but transitioned over to basketball. Wasn't bad at it. Double in steals and assists, but could not make a shot to save my life. So wasn't going to go anywhere with that. I was only going to cap out at 6 foot. So had to make a decision if I wanted to play freshman year, and was like, you know what? I had a buddy that was a grade above me, really good. They had 5 a.m. freshman practices, and then you have 3:30 cross-country practice. So he just got burnt out by the end of the year. He was like, don't do it. If you are going to go all in on cross and track, just do it now. And I was like, all right. So that was my background. So, and I was ready for that anyway. I loved running, so that wasn't hard to decide, honestly.
Okay. Yeah. You got to be able to hit those buckets in basketball. It's
exactly.
Kind of important.
Yeah.
And yeah, running, I've talked with people, I mean, overall, compared to other sports, is probably one of the cheapest. I mean, obviously, you got to have shoes, and then some of the spikes and carbon plated shoes get expensive, but you don't have to have those. And to step out your door and run's free. So yeah, I mean, I come from, people know me on the channel. I got 3 siblings, so family of 6. Yeah, I understand. Sometimes some of those, it adds up when you got multiple kids doing it, but running not as much. So
exactly,
I can relate there. So yeah, high school. What were kind of the highlights of your high school career?
Yeah, say my freshman year, I got 3rd at state in the mile. It was kind of a sit and kick race, and had a good kick, and that was kind of a big deal. We won state that year. That was fun. I'm from Oklahoma, and they've gotten much faster since, but it's always windy there, and so the state meet and just times in general aren't ever super fast. When I popped a time kind of around my junior year, coaches that were recruiting me were like, we don't usually see times come out of Oklahoma because it's just hard to run fast times there. No one ever really does. So when we see a time there, we want to get that kid. And so everything was just sit and kick. My coach is one of those, we're going to win state title. So it was just I'm going to throw you in 3 or 4 races. So you never really were fresh too. So but we would go for state titles. We won 3 out of the 4 years. That was a lot of fun. Probably the biggest thing though was senior year. I won cross country state, and then and that was my first title. I had always gotten top 4 at the prior 2 years in cross country, and then been top 3 and top 6 and some other things in track. But I had been runner-up my junior year in the mile, so my first title was in cross country my senior year, and then like I said, it's super windy in Oklahoma, so my senior year, 40-mile-an-hour winds both days at the state meet. Just everything was a jog fest because no one wants to take it in that. So 4x8 won. Wasn't going to do the 8. We were going to scratch me and just have my other 2 teammates do it. But we were getting one of the other teams dropped the baton. They were like, Jed, we got to do the 800. The next, so I guess I won the 4x8 and then the 3200. So those were my first 2 track titles. The next day, that team had dropped the baton, and my coaches were like, we got to have you because if you win or like get top 3, like we could really take a shot at this team title. And so won the 800, like it came down to the last kick, and I didn't even plan on doing it, but it came down to the kick, and it's into a dead headwind. I just won the kick, and I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. So that was a pretty fun one. That was probably my highlight, I'd say. And then came back in the mile later that day, and another jog fest, and won the kick on that. So got the all 4 at the state track meet, and had never won a track title. So that was fun getting all 5 of those there. So those are my glory days, but yeah.
Wow. The full sweep there, senior year. That's awesome.
Slow times, so I will put that in there, but it was a sit and kick, so we'll take it.
State title's a state title. So I know the weather may not be ideal, but what was your high school PRs though, just so the listeners can have an idea here?
800 was 156, nothing super special. The mile is what got me recruited. Ran 4:13 at the end of my junior year. Dang. Hadn't really run much and just had a huge PR at the festival miles, and that got my name out there to be recruited my senior year. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't have ended up where I did. So 3,200, like I said, we never really ran it. 9:42, and then I had run 15:20 in the 5K on a cross course at Chili Pepper. So those are my PRs. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. No surprise that you're still more of a mid-distance. Mid-distance 15-miler kind of guy. You can see that even with high school. So so then good segue. You mentioned kind of getting recruited. What were the main schools that were seriously looking at you, and then that you were also seriously considering?
Oklahoma State, Tulsa, Iowa State, Gonzaga, and then kind of later in the game, Wichita State. And then I also was really considering Oklahoma Baptist. My sister had gone there, and they were transitioning from NAIA to D2. I really liked their coaches and stuff. They were close to home. But they didn't really have any guys on the team at the time that I could train with, even as soon as I got there. So that was a red flag.
Right.
Gonzaga, going to be too expensive. Really liked the team, and the coach was Prefontaine's roommate. It was like, that was cool, but too expensive, so I couldn't go there. But then, so it kind of came down to like Oklahoma State, Tulsa, Iowa State. Tulsa had a bunch of really good British guys that they wanted, and so offered them over me. Understandable. Ended up working out. They went on their stretch to place top 5, top 6 at cross and do really well. So, so then it was Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Wichita State, honestly. So Iowa State and Oklahoma State offered similar. I was close to going to those, but there's just something in me that told me Wichita State. They offered a bigger scholarship, but then there were some good guys there that proved to me that like I could get good in the 1,500 mile, which was my passion. And then when I went on my visit, everyone just sat in a room, all like 12, 13 guys, and we just like talked for like 3 hours. I was like, these guys love each other. Like, this is awesome. I think I would just like enjoy my time here. And then they also take their running serious. So liked Coach Hunter a lot too. And so at the end of the day, I was like, you know what, this just feels right. And it's 2 hours north of my house, so it's like, this will be a good spot for sure. So settled on Wichita State. Took me a while, about spring of my senior year, but then went there for 4 years for my undergrad. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, good stuff. You ran some good stuff at Wichita and had a good impact there. As people may know, one of my teammates and roommates now, Clayton, was your teammate there. And he's told me some about you and running there and the times, the good competition y'all had there. So good to hear that. So from Wichita, you transferred to Oklahoma. You want to talk about that? What went into that decision and why you picked Oklahoma?
Yeah, I had gotten, so I had a kind of a breakout year in 2021, coming off the pandemic. Ran pretty well on track, and then had a good start, like a huge jump in cross start of that 2021 season. And then right after one of my PRs, I like came back to one of my workouts and just felt terrible. Got dropped by all the guys. I was like, that's weird. Like, I was just our number one man. I don't know what's going on. Like, my hips hurting, couldn't breathe. Then that just persisted for the rest of the cross country season. Was running like a minute slower and everything. Hadn't changed anything. And I was like, something's off. But nothing was hurting too bad. I just was like, I don't have any power out of my left hip. long story short, knew that like from one of our other teammates, he had a torn hip labrum, and I was like, I think that's what it is. Like all the signs are pointing to that, but couldn't really get an MRI on it. School wasn't paying for it, so I was like, got to figure something out. And so ultimately, I had to go after about 5-6 months, the school finally was like, all right, we'll get an MRI on it. Showed a torn hip labrum, but then went to a surgeon. He was like, I don't want to pay for that. Or the school was like, we're not paying for a surgery. So my parents were like, you know what, we'll just do it ourselves. And at that point, kind of going into my senior year, my sister had gotten the head distance coaching position at Oklahoma. She had ran professionally, and so she was the head coach there, and I was like, that'd be really cool. Like, she kind of got me in the sport. I was like, it'd be really cool to run for her. So I was thinking about it, but things were going well in Wichita, and I was like, I don't want to leave these guys. I love this team. Like, Clayton, all those guys were really close, and so I was pretty torn. But once I got injured and couldn't figure out that medical situation, I was like, I don't think, like, if anything goes wrong, I'm not going to really have the resources here. OU is a med campus, and so I was like, I feel like for my career, it's just best. And then on top of that, my sister's there, and so decided to go, medically redshirted that spring, and transferred that summer. Got surgery in May of 22, so that kind of took me out until like August, September. So started building back up. Was gonna run cross country like late in the season, and then I almost broke my ankle on a run. Had to jump up, touch a basketball goal on the side of the road, and came down and rolled my ankle. It was really close. So that took me out for cross, and so just a string of injuries throughout 2022, 2020. Into 2023, just kind of losing fitness off of all those injuries. Nothing really panned out. And then it was a sprints-oriented program, and so my sister wasn't getting any money to build a team. So she had kind of told me, like, hey, I'm going to probably be heading out, like getting a different coaching position, or maybe even not even coaching it. Like, she realized after a couple years it might not be for her. And so it's like, well, shoot, I'm going to have to enter the portal again. So started racing on attach. Things went a little bit better, got closer to my PRs, but just entered on attach. And when I was in the portal the first time, I had visited Cincinnati and really liked them, but settled on OU and was kind of torn because I was like, dang, Cincinnati gave me a good offer and really liked the guys and the team. And so came back and decided, you know what, I'm gonna go to UC at the end of kind of like March, April 2023. So ended up packing my bags again, going up there. Didn't really want to transfer again. Didn't even really want to transfer the first time. If you can stay at your school, stay at your school. But life circumstances change, and you do the best with what you got at the time. So ended up at UC for the last 2 years. So
I mean, I'm not. We were talking about this yesterday. I think, not always the biggest fan of transferring in general, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I transferred, and overall, I'm not the biggest fan, but yeah, you got to do what you got to do. And initially when I was talking to Clayton before about you transferring, I was like, why did he leave Wichita? It's like, well, his sister was the coach. Like, if you had an older sister and she was trying to build something, like, well, yeah, of course. Like, and people who know me, and I've said I'm pretty close with my family, so I respect that, and I think most people would. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do, and you've done well at Cincinnati. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I mean, the last 2 years at Big 12 Outdoors, you've gotten 7th, right, in the 1500? Yeah. So, I mean, that's, definitely one of the toughest conferences, if not the toughest for middle distance and distance there. And you've gotten 7th 2 years in a row. So that's no joke. So what's kind of gone into that to make you one of the more competitive guys in the Big 12 for 1500?
Yeah, I mean, it's consistency, just staying healthy helped. You hear that from a lot of runners, but when you deal with injury and constantly back, even if it's just a little sickness and it takes you out, it's tough to come back from that, a couple weeks later. So staying healthy, sickness-wise, staying healthy, no injuries, so that's gone a long way. What went into it, I had seen some really good milers and distance runners at the time, and the coach, Lucas Rothenberger, had been with Tulsa, Iowa State, and worked under Jerry Schumacher at Bowerman, and so he had good experiences like that. Okay, I definitely trust that guy, and so was excited to go there. Went to Colorado for the summer of 23, trained, came back really fit. Cincinnati, was excited, and then just a string of unfortunate events. I will say, so staying healthy, have been for about the last 18 months, but that first semester it went awry. I rolled my ankle on a long run, broke my foot about 10 days later, and then just random things, like bashed my head on accident on like the underside of the bus going to one of their meets as a manager. Like just little things are happening. I was like, dude, I can't catch a break. And so I had broken my foot. Took about till December to start building back up. So indoor of 24 wasn't anything pretty, but start to get the ball rolling a little bit. And then outdoors frustrating. I was actually kind of like 2024 considering just not coming back for my last year. It's going to be my 7th year. It's going to be 25 years old. I'm like, this is just, I can't get back to my PR. So I was considering other opportunities or options, just kind of getting a job and stuff, maybe training on my own. And I was like, I still need to finish my master's though. So Big 12s rolls around and finally just perfect weather. You're racing some of the big dogs, All-Americans, guys that are going to go on to represent their country in the Olympics later that year or something. And you're like, I feel like I don't belong here, but I'm just going to hop in there and see what happens. And huge PR, got the last little queue into the final and was like, oh, well, that's huge. Still wasn't enough to, like any other year, I would have made first round. Still wasn't enough to make first rounds. It was 342 flat, but like, I was like, I could go get some summer races in. The fitness was starting to roll around. So went and did some 342 races, or another 342, and then came up here, ran 401 and Ural's mile, trying to break 4. So that's where I met you last year. So yeah. It really was actually just about a year ago that I kind of got the ball rolling, like turning around, and finally got my feet back under me. So stayed healthy for the summer, came back, ran a huge 8K PR. That was solid. Probably didn't do everything I wanted to in cross. Got a little bit sick during that, and so the end didn't go super well, but was promising. And then indoor of this year, ran 4 flat. It's like, dang it, I want to break 4. And honestly, I don't know if I'd come up to Minnesota if I had broken 4 in indoor. I ran 4 flat. So I'm here right now to get the job done, try and break 4.
Yeah, and we'll get that done tonight.
Yeah. But outdoor went well. Ran 340 a few times consistently. So got back down under my PR and been getting into some fun summer races. So hitting the roads and stuff. And we'll see what track holds in the future. Not real sure. I'm wanting to get into collegiate coaching. So if, I'm not able to race anymore, so be it. Got to help the athletes out. So hopefully I can stay fit and help rabbit them and stuff. And then when it's the off season, maybe hit the roads and have some fun. So, but at a certain point, unless I pop a crazy time here, got to probably throw in the towel. So
Yeah, you've had some good progression. I mean, 4 flat, you always want to break 4, but 4 flat, again, no joke there. And you ran a 3K PR that same meet, I see. So It's always nice to walk away with a couple PRs. So kind of shift a little bit here. What kind of mileage you normally hitting being a 1500 guy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think I ever played around with like super high mileage. I've always tried to be 70s, and this last year kind of crept up to around 80 in my base mileage phase. And I love kind of like hopping on the bike and stuff too, so I'll throw some cross training in there as well. But then as we get kind of closer to track, I'll drop it down to about 70 and just slowly kind of work that down to 60 and then 50 into like my peak mileage phase. So I'd say 60 is my sweet spot, but to really get super fit, you kind of got to tack on some extra. And so, but yeah, kind of around 60 for the majority of it and throughout track season, and drop down to kind of 50, 55 for racing, like when we're starting to peak. So
that's good. And I mean, you got a lot of younger guys in high school, or even some guys getting into college, and they think that they're a 1500 guy and they got to hit 40 miles or something. And I'm sure that's what some people need to do, but you can't be afraid to hit some miles. You gotta. I mean, it's still a pretty aerobic race, so you got to have that aerobic base. So
exactly.
So I mean, for younger guys watching this, so we got a 340 guy here, and he's still hitting the mileage. So that's what it takes. So kind of keep talking about training. What's your go-to training shoes?
Vaporfly 3 for workouts. Just bought the Streakfly 2. We'll see what we think about them. Thank you, Twin City. But hitting some road miles, so I want to hop in those. Those will be nice. But I work for Fleet Feet down in Cincinnati, and so just been seeded a bunch of random shoes. I have some nice custom orthotics that honestly make everything feel good. Really everything from like Nike Vomero, Asics Nimbus, and Glide Ride Max, and then just hopped in a Mizuno Neo Vista for some quicker stuff because they're kind of plated and really soft. So anything, man. They're like, I'm not super picky. There's some bad shoes maybe, but overall it's been like, I like cushion and trying to, Cincinnati's a concrete jungle, so got to get some good cushion under me. So I try and stay in the high cushion stuff, but yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, And then do you race in the Dragonflies or Victories?
Dragonfly. The Victory, like, I've just heard of people like the bubble popping and like I have tried it on. It's like just a little weird kind of rocking motion.
A little too aggressive for you.
Yeah, Cincinnati's a Nike school, so they give us Dragonflies. I'm like,
sure,
I'm good with those. So yeah, they're great.
Yeah, did you get the Dragonfly 2s or the Elites this year?
Yeah, I got the 2 this year. So I would like the Elite. I mean, it's carbon plated, but I'm not gonna fork out the money for it.
Sure,
so I'm a poor boy. I'll take what they give me, and they work great. So,
they're both great options. So.
Yeah.
And then kind of last question here about training, and then we'll kind of switch directions. What's kind of your favorite type of workout or favorite workout that you do?
Yeah. So at UC, I think we just got, and at Oklahoma as well, we just got really heavy into some threshold work. But, as we kind of get a little bit closer to the end of the season, we start to touch on some more specific things. I think this year was a little bit of a bummer. I was just kind of chasing times and didn't get to focus on the little things as much. And it kind of showed in some of the championship style racing. I only had kind of one tactic. And so when we do get to work on those things, I think it was like a lot of fun to kind of work on change of pace stuff. One of them was like 2 by a K at threshold, and then we do 4 to 5 times 500. I think I only stayed at 4 because it was hot and I was starting to burn. But first 300 about 44, and the last 200 like 27, trying to work on close. And that one got me thrown up good. But that type of stuff is a lot of fun, really getting the legs turned over. So
I like that. Yeah, it's nice to do that change of pace stuff. There's definitely a time and a place for the threshold or tempo type work, but the change of pace stuff's always good, especially for the late season racing where you may need that quick change of pace.
Exactly.
Yeah, so let's briefly talk about your diet. What's kind of your go-to meals, or are you well, first, are you a type of guy that just eats whatever, or do you kind of have a diet you like to follow?
Yeah, I wish I was. I know there's guys out there and you're like, dang man, and they're usually like just crushing. Like you have some friends and it's like, you're always injured because look at what you eat, man.
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, I did deal with some injuries, and I'm like, I just need to be on top of those things. And I try to not overthink it though. Like when I read into it too much, I start to get in my head. And so just making sure I'm eating enough, not overeating, but eating enough. And, just a lot of white meats. I'll try and get red meat in there once a week so I don't overdo it. That can kind of cause some inflammation. So we're sticking with chicken, turkey, and my fiance and I love just kind of cooking. So honestly, it's just like a lot of Chipotle style bowls, and then you throw a different sauce in there, and it's Chinese night, or you throw a different sauce in there, and it's Mediterranean night. So like, it's not anything super special. It's kind of boring. And once I retire, maybe we'll play around with some different recipes. But my go-to food and snack is sweet potato. I love sweet potato. It's really nice. Yeah, air fry it, super good. So, yeah.
Sweet potatoes are, for me, something I've kind of recently got into. I don't eat it all the time, but I historically have hated it. And then last fall we had a team potluck, and one of the ladies brought some like sweet potato dessert, and it was amazing. And I'm like, oh, I like sweet potatoes now. So they're pretty slick.
Yeah.
So, and then still on diet, what's your go-to like the day before and then race day? Do you stick to a strict plan there, or?
Yeah, I mean, I try to like not add anything greasy in there, or like a lot of sugars. That's another thing, just kind of general rule of thumb. And I like kind of towards the end of my college career was like, you know what, start trying to treat every week like race week, and you just kind of feel better. So I used to be like, all right, we got to race this week, let's be real clean, and then I'd like just eat whatever I want after or something. Like over the past few years, it's been like, all right, let's clean that up. So it's just oatmeal and some eggs in the morning with a banana, and then like turkey sandwich for lunch, and then I'll have some bars in between that, just staying hungry, and then I pasta with meat sauce. One of my buddies said that like he moved back closer to his parents, and so they've had dinner a lot more, and they're like, every time we have dinner, you guys just eat pasta all the time. It's like, that's just like, I guess, a runner thing. Like, I realize like how much I eat pasta. I'm like, I guess I don't know how to make much else. So
right.
A lot of times pasta, because it's just simple. I know it's not going to mess up my stomach.
Right.
So
yeah, good stuff there. You mentioned oatmeal. That's my go-to on race day, and I know that's Kipchoge's race day breakfast is oatmeal. So.
It won't mess you up. That and coffee. Always gotta have a
big coffee guy. Okay.
Big coffee guy.
Yeah, that's good. Nice balance there. And yeah, let's see. Oh, I wanted to ask the long hair. You know, some people know you by the hair. How long have you had that long flowing hair, and what's kind of the story there?
Yeah, well, it's June 2025, and last time I got a haircut, kind of traditional boy length, was May 2014. So I've been on 11 years. I'll get it trimmed and stuff like that up a little bit more, but yeah, I just like got sick of paying for a haircut, and then got sick of like getting bad haircuts. I'm like, at like 12, I tried to grow it out, and I got mistaken for a girl because I hadn't hit puberty. I was like, I'm gonna wait till I hit puberty and then I'll grow it out. So I'm just, my freshman year of high school was like, all right, I think I'm getting a little older. I can do it. So I was like, I'm gonna spend this year using hair ties and headbands and hats. And then sophomore year, I almost cut it because I didn't know how to use a hair tie. It was like too complicated for me. And like some girls taught me how to use it, and I was like, all right, I can keep it. And then the rest is history. I've just kept it ever since. It's easy to take care of. If I lived in like Florida, it's sticky, I'm sure I would probably want to cut it eventually, but it's been fine. Windy areas, it does kind of suck some days, but hats do the trick. They keep it down. It's fine. So it grew out, got curly, kind of thanks to my mom, and I thought it looked good. I was like, all right, I'll just keep it. So,
being curly helps. I've known people. I mean, even me when I grown my hair, nothing like you, but it's not curly, and so that changes things. Yeah, and having that curly flow makes it look better.
Got lucky.
Yeah, that's haircuts. A funny story here, not to get too off track, but haircuts do get expensive. My dad has cut my hair growing like my whole life. Yeah. In my freshman year of college, my teammate went and got a haircut, and he said it was $20. Yeah. And this other teammate was like, no way, that's crazy. And I was like, yeah, that is crazy, like that you would pay that much. And he was like, no, that's a deal. Yeah. And you learn a lot more at college than just maybe some stuff out of the books. But they do get expensive. They do. You're paying $50-$60, and then you tip, and if you want to do that every few weeks or once a month, especially when you're in college, it's a lot of money. If you had a nice stable job, maybe not. But that's a fun story, and people know you by the hair. Exactly. Yeah, and then you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but what are you kind of looking in the future? Your plans here now that you're done with college? I mean, you mentioned you still run some and coach, but maybe go a little more into detail about that. What are maybe more long term there? Yeah,
I've coached high school this last year and a half, and just got my master's in sport administration. Been getting connected with coaches, and it's kind of what I'm doing right now, is just applying everywhere for assistant coaching roles. So just want to get in with a good coach, learn the ropes, and build a good team. It's a volatile time in the NCAA, so I'm open to smaller school too that are maybe a little more protected. And I wouldn't be opposed to coaching pro, but that's very few and far between of those. Sure. So maybe after a couple of decades in the sport, who knows? You never know what can happen. But so as far as that goes, just trying to get a collegiate coaching position. If it doesn't stick this summer, we'll coach same high school over this next year and work a job. And my fiance and I are both working in Cincinnati, so we'll just stay there and just wait for the next thing to open up and keep my name out there. So that's the plan from a career perspective. From a running perspective, in an ideal world, if I could get a remote position, just move out to the mountains somewhere and train, that'd be awesome. Or go from 340 to 335, get a contract and stay in it, that'd be awesome. But those few seconds are a fine margin. Yeah. I'm looking at having to probably retire over keeping it going. I love it. Want to push my body until it can't go anymore. But you just got to be an adult at some point and get a job. And, right. So I would say with that, still want to train on the side of whatever I'm doing and stay fit enough to, rabbit races. I'm rabbiting a couple this summer while I'm at a couple of pro races, and then I'm doing some road races, some mile races while I'm still in mile shape. And then once I take a break, I'll kind of start to build back up. Always maybe wanted to see what I could do in a half marathon. Okay. Club cross, if some buddies want to go do it, that'd be fun. Yeah, I'll always miss cross. Never was my super strong suit, but it's always super fun. When you ask people what they miss about the sport, it's usually cross. Yep. They just miss that team aspect. It's just a good time. So if life circumstances warrant it, I'll hop back on the track. I'd love to go do some indoor and outdoor races. So try and get strong enough to be good at the 5K. I think that'd be fun. But shown my strength is the mile, so to be good at the 5K, be relevant in it, you need to be mid-13s or faster. So we'll see if I can get down there one day. But it's just kind of what life throws my way. A little bit of a volatile time right now, seeing what that is. So just classic mid-20s trying to figure life out, So
Yeah, something will happen, and you're looking, and that's the big thing. That's what a lot of people told me when I graduated. It's like, as long as you're like actively looking and willing to work, something to work out. But the issue is when people just don't try and they just expect people to come knocking on their door.
Exactly.
It's like that's not going to happen. But you got a good plan in your mind. So we hope that plays out good for you.
Yeah.
And then so a couple other things here, and then we'll wrap this up. And people have watched the videos, they're probably expecting this. We like to ask everybody their like go-to advice, and especially keep in mind here, like for like new runners or like people that aren't very good. So this could be like someone who's 50 and they like, I'm gonna run, or like I'm a freshman in high school and I don't know anything. What's your like go-to advice for running?
Yeah, find a way to enjoy it. I think that goes hand in hand with like getting recovered and getting good sleep and eating well. But on top of that, like if you're just in a bad setting with teammates and coaches you aren't getting along with, like take a step back, get away from that environment if you can, and do it your own way. Like you don't have to stay in it, and don't like always think the grass is greener on the other side. Like recently talked with like some younger guys on the team that like they might not be super happy, and like just give it a couple of years. Like you don't have to, it's not going to click right away. Not everything's always sunshine and rainbows. It's rare that you are thriving in the sport. There's a few people that are very consistent, but a lot of times you go through a lot of ups and downs. And so just be patient and find a way to enjoy it. Like if you are injured, find a way to enjoy those. Like just make it like to where you're it's worth your time and like you want to work towards it. So finding a way to enjoy it, and that won't let you get burnt out. It's a hard sport to be good at. It's a hard sport to enjoy sometimes, and it's a lot of grunt work that you got to do. So find a way to stay happy and enjoy it. But yeah, I think it's pretty simple with that. But on top of that, just get good sleep and eat well. And usually you'll stay healthy, and that consistency will lead into good times and consistent racing, and that will help you enjoy it too. So just whatever you can do to love the sport, keep people in it too. That's what we've talked about, trying to build the sport and keeping people involved in it and happy and trying to train well. So yeah, that'd be my advice.
Yeah, that's good advice, and I've had some other people say similar about just whatever, have fun, whatever that means to you. And then the being patient, that's a big one too. And we've talked about transference. Some people, they transfer after like 1 or 2 semesters. Like give it a little time. You're in a new city, probably in a new city around new people. Everything's new. Like give it. And there's certainly instances where it's like you need to get out of there. But yeah, patience goes a long way in running. And if you're patient and consistent and having fun, it'll click. And when it does click, you'll be glad you stuck with it. So that's good advice. So I want to finish up here with some rapid fire. I did this with a couple people a few interviews ago. So want to do that again. I thought that was a fun thing to do. So just rapid fire. So first thing that comes to your mind, favorite post-race meal?
Pizza.
Meat
lovers pizza.
Okay. See here. The favorite city you've ever raced in?
Probably Colorado Springs. Wasn't anything special, but I just love the mountains. So
that's cool. Let's see here. Go-to hype song before workout or race?
Electric Avenue, just right now. It changes all the time.
Okay.
Right now,
You've been singing that a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Dream sponsor, if it could be any. Doesn't have to be a running brand. Just your dream brand to be sponsored by.
I'd probably go New Balance. It's a running brand. Oh, they're kind of an everything brand, but probably go New Balance. I love their stuff, and they got good running shoes. So I'd probably do them.
Good all-around brand.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We've asked some of these. Let's see. You this non-running, but are you more of a dog or cat kind of guy?
Dog, unless that cat. I've met some cats that are like dogs.
Yeah.
So but dog overall. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. A couple more maybe. You may have kind of already hinted at this, but if you weren't a runner, what sport would you want to be just as successful at?
Soccer. Yeah.
Soccer.
I mean, I love golf. I love basketball, but I'm recently watching tennis. I'm like, that'd be sweet. But soccer, I love it. I miss it. I'm gonna definitely join some adult soccer leagues soon. Probably get injured immediately.
Yeah,
but,
probably break your ankle.
Yeah, but I miss it. So definitely want to play some soccer.
All right, let's see here. One more. Again, first one that comes to your mind. The hardest workout you've ever done.
Man, it's been a lot, but probably like at Wichita State we would do one 3 sets of 4 times 400. Like that's always kind of the bread and butter one that would come to mind. We'd sometimes get a little overly ambitious early on. You start off about 3K pace, and then you're at mile pace, and then you're at way faster in your 800 pace, and you end up lactic headache for an hour afterwards. So
that's funny.
I may have done some that are harder, but those are easy to think about because there was constant. We did that one all the time. They always got me. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds tough.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Thank you for doing this, and yeah, we hope tonight you break 4 along with some other guys. So get you in that sub 4 club. Get you a tree planted out there in the forest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to add a little update after tonight right after this, so let people know how that went. But yeah, thanks for the interview. Good stuff. Always fun to hear someone's story and how they think about running.
Yeah, I appreciate it, dude. Love what you're doing here.
All right, everybody. As much as I would have loved to get on here and let you know that Jed did break 4, unfortunately he did not. That said, he ran really tough, ran smart, gave it his all, just didn't have it in the race that night, but obviously doesn't take away from his success as a runner. So just wanted to give that quick update here at the end. Appreciate everybody watching. If you're interested in being interviewed, I'm looking into options here of doing some Zoom interviews. So you could reach out to me via Instagram or my email. I do have some people already lined up, so it may be a bit, but if we get enough people here interested, we'll be posting these at a way higher frequency. So yeah.